Okay, you hear stories about endurance, but Gene Bello, this guy, it just blows my mind.
Right.
He didn't just go for a long walk. He spent 3 years walking around the entire planet.
It's incredible.
Slept in tents, sure, but also, get this, sometimes jail cells. Just, wow. Talk about commitment.
Absolutely extreme.
Now, obviously, we're probably not planning that kind of trip.
Probably not, no.
But it really makes you think, what actually happens inside our bodies when we just walk a bit more? Like, add an extra walk each day.
Yeah, and that contrast is kind of perfect, isn't it? Bellows' epic journey versus our everyday steps. He took it to the absolute limit, but it highlights this, fundamental thing we can all do. Moving.
Right.
So, our goal today is to really dig into that. What does just a little more walking actually do for your body, for your mind? We're drawing on some really interesting research here.
Okay.
We'll look at the immediate lift you get from just one walk, then what happens over weeks, months, and even how the places we live, how walkable they are, affect us.
Sounds good. Let's start with that immediate thing. We've all felt it, right? You go for a walk, maybe feeling a bit stressed or down, and afterwards, you feel clearer, less tense.
Definitely.
The source says even one afternoon stroll can boost your mood, help with anxiety. What's the science behind that instant effect?
Okay, so think of a brisk walk as your body's natural pick-me-up.
Okay.
Almost instantly, your body starts releasing endorphins. These are those feel-good chemicals in your brain.
Oh, right. Endorphins.
Yeah, they act like natural pain relievers, but also boost your moods, like a little reward system kicking in. And at the same time, walking helps dial down your stress response. It actually curbs the release of cortisol.
Cortisol, the main stress hormone.
That's the one. So that feeling of lightness, of tension easing, it's real. It's biology, not just in your head.
That's actually amazing. A real physical shift happening right away. Okay, so what if you make it a habit? Not just one walk, but regular walking. The source mentions adaptations within weeks. What changes then?
Right, so within just a few weeks of consistent walking, your body starts getting more efficient at it.
More efficient how?
Well, walking seems simple, but it uses this whole network of muscles, legs, obviously, but also your core, your back. They all work together for balance and movement.
Mm-hmm.
When you walk regularly, the blood vessels that feed those muscles, they actually expand and get better at delivering oxygen.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like your body's upgrading its internal plumbing, its delivery system to meet that increased demand.
So the muscles get better fuel delivery. Makes sense. And the source also mentioned the heart becoming more efficient pretty quickly, too.
Exactly. Your heart's a muscle, right?
Right.
So regular aerobic activity like walking is basically a workout for your heart. It gets stronger.
Okay.
A stronger heart can pump more blood with each beat, which means it doesn't have to beat as often or work as hard overall to circulate oxygen all through your body.
I see. Less strain.
Precisely. And that increased efficiency, that's really the foundation for those big, long-term heart health benefits.
Okay, so these short-term changes, better oxygen delivery, stronger heart pump, they set the stage for longer-term advantages. The source talks about lower blood pressure, reduced risk of heart attacks, stroke. How does walking lead to that over months and years?
Well, it connects directly back to that heart efficiency. When your heart pumps more effectively, there's less pressure on your artery walls day in, day out.
Ah, okay. Lower blood pressure.
Exactly. And over time, that consistent reduction in strain, plus other positive changes from regular exercise, just significantly cuts your risk of those serious cardiovascular events.
It's not just heart health, though, is it? The source mentioned bone strength, too. That's something you definitely think about more as you get older. How does walking help bone?
Yeah, that's a really key point.
Yeah.
Walking is what we call a weight-bearing exercise.
Right.
Every single time your foot hits the ground, it puts a tiny bit of good stress on your bones.
Good strength. Yeah.
Yeah, not damaging.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a signal to your body saying, hey, we need to be strong here. So your body responds by building and maintaining bone density. It gets better at absorbing calcium and minerals.
Oh. So it's like stimulating them.
Exactly. Consistent walking over the years is like making deposits in your bone bank. It helps fight that natural decline in bone density that happens with age.
Deposits in your bone bank.
I like that. And the source listed other long-term wins, too.
Yeah.
Weight management, lower risk of type 2 diabetes, even some cancers, dementia. It almost sounds, too simple, just walking.
It is kind of remarkable, the scope of it. Regular walking helps your body manage blood sugar, which is huge for preventing type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
It obviously helps burn calories, maintain a healthy weight.
Yeah.
And that itself is linked to lower risk for various cancers.
Right.
And for the brain. The thinking is that walking improves blood flow to the brain, which helps protect against cognitive decline, dementia.
Wow.
And the best part, it's so accessible. You don't need fancy equipment. Just, decent shoes and somewhere to walk. Okay, let's talk about the amount of walking. Everyone throws around that 10,000 steps number, like it's this magic target. But the source challenges that a bit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. The 10,000 steps thing, it's sketchy. It came from a marketing campaign, actually, years ago in Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But the research, it consistently shows that any increase from what you're currently doing is beneficial. You don't have to hit 10,000.
So if someone's doing 3,000 steps, getting to 4,000 or 5,000 already helps.
Absolutely. More movement is better than less. That's the core message.
Yeah.
And critically, it doesn't have to be all at once.
Okay.
Those steps you get walking to the bus stop, taking the stairs at work, walking the dog, a quick stroll at lunch, it all adds up. It all counts towards the benefits.
That makes it feel much less daunting. You can just weave it into your day.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of everyday life, the source broadens out to talk about walkable communities. That study in Hong Kong with seniors sounded really interesting. What did they find?
Yeah, that study really highlights the wider impact. They looked at older adults and found that those living in neighborhoods designed to be more walkable.
Meaning like sidewalks, shops nearby, easy to get around on foot.
Exactly. Good sidewalks, shops and services within walking distance, good public transport links. Those seniors reported feeling less lonely and more satisfied with life overall.
Less lonely. Just from walkability.
Yeah, compared to seniors in less walkable areas. It suggests that walkability isn't just about physical health. It supports social connection and psychological well-being, too.
That makes sense. If it's easier to get out and about, you probably interact more, feel more connected to your area.
Precisely.
But, okay, if walking is so good for us and walkable places make us feel better, why don't more people walk? The source points to some barriers, right? Like safety and just lack of nice places to walk.
That's a huge issue. It really comes down to how we've designed our towns and cities for, decades. The focus has been so heavily on cars.
Right. Roads, highways, parking.
Yeah. And often that means funding and planning prioritize cars over people on foot. Sidewalks might be missing or broken, or there aren't safe places to cross busy streets. Parks might be few and far between.
And the source also mentions zoning laws, especially in the U.S., making things harder.
That's another big factor. Zoning that strictly separates where people live from where they work, shop, or go to school. It creates distance.
So you have to drive.
Pretty much. If the grocery store or your kid's school is miles away, down roads with no sidewalks, walking just isn't a practical option for most people. It actively discourages it.
But it's not all bad news. The source gave some positive examples. That Cusack's Helen Greenway project in Vancouver sounded really cool.
Oh, the Greenway is a fantastic example. They actually took a stretch of road, about 2 kilometers, and converted it primarily for walking and cycling.
Wow. What happened?
Really positive results. People living nearby reported getting more exercise, they drove less car trips, went down by something like 23%, and their personal greenhouse gas emissions dropped too.
So build it and they will come. Or walk.
Kind of, yeah. It shows that if you provide safe, appealing alternatives to driving, people often choose them.
And it doesn't always have to be a huge project like converting a road, does it? The example from Bethel, Vermont, just painted crosswalks and things.
Absolutely. Smaller changes can make a big difference too. Things like clearly marked crosswalks make pedestrians more visible and drivers more aware.
Okay.
And curb extensions where the sidewalk juts out a bit at the crossing shorten the distance you have to walk across the road, which feels much safer, especially on busier streets or if you have kids or mobility issues.
So even those small tweaks matter.
They really do. They add up to create an environment that feels safer and more inviting for walking.
It's good to hear about those solutions. And it kind of brings us back around to Gene Bello, walking 75,000 kilometers.
An absolutely mind-boggling distance.
But it just underscores the point, right? His feat was extraordinary, superhuman almost. But the basic act of walking and the benefits that come from just doing more of it, that's available to pretty much all of us. We don't need to circle the globe.
Exactly. That's the core message, really. Bello shows the ultimate potential of human movement. But the science tells us that even, modest increases in your daily steps can create significant positive changes, physically, mentally.
And as we discussed, it's not about needing one long workout. It's the steps you gather throughout the day. Going to the shops, walking meetings, taking the stairs.
It all counts.
Yeah.
And the impact goes beyond just you, the individual. Creating more walkable places boosts community connection, and it's better for the environment. It's a win-win-win.
So the final thought then. Maybe as you go about your day-to-day, just look for one small chance to walk a bit more than usual.
Yeah, that's a great takeaway. Or maybe take a moment to really look at your own neighborhood. How walkable is it? Really? What's one tiny thing that can make it better for walking? Sometimes just noticing that is the first step. Pun intended, I guess.